I'm a truck driver and normally deliver groceries to small, one-off, grocery stores in the middle of nowhere. I was delivering to a store somewhere north of Gallup, New Mexico. I was scheduled to deliver at 5 a.m. I made it there the night before, so I pulled around to the back of the store to get a little sleep. I woke up a few hours later because I had to piss. It was completely black in the truck. A complete absence of light. No vision at all. This is not unusual because I have blackout curtains in there so that I can sleep during the day without light messing with me. I sat forward from the bed to unzip the curtain, and damn near fell forward. Curtains were already open. I had never closed them when I went to sleep. I felt my way to the front of the truck to look out the windows. Completely black. I couldn't see inside the truck. I couldn't see outside the truck. It's like I was blind. I felt my way to the door handle, and when I opened the door, the inside lights felt brighter than the sun compared to the darkness. I took a second to be happy I wasn't blind, and then stepped out to piss. It was totally black outside. My dome lights were barely cutting through it, maybe 2 feet from the door and windows. I couldn't see the ground. I couldn't see the sky. I couldn't see the store I know I parked right next to. Not even halfway through pissing, I got this overwhelming feeling to run away. A really dreadful feeling. I went up on the balls of my feet involuntarily, like my body was going to take off running without waiting on my brain to decide. I jumped back in the truck and locked the doors. Started it up, cut on the lights, the brights, and the chicken lights. All it just let me see maybe 5 feet in front and nothing but the lights on the sides. I crept out of that lot and back to the road. A couple of miles later, it started looking like normal outside. I could see like any other night. I drove back down to Gallup and parked in a lit-up Walmart parking lot and didn't go back to that store until the sun came up. I have had paranormal experiences since I was young. This one was pretty creepy. My husband and my 2-year-old daughter had moved into a semi-new apartment complex. I was a stay-at-home mom. I first noticed that the lights flickered in the hallway and the TV would turn off on its own. I always felt uneasy being alone in the apartment. It felt dark, although it had lots of windows and there was plenty of light during the daytime. One very early morning at the break of dawn, I heard a jingling of tags from a pet, something jump onto the bed, do circles on my comforter, and lay down by my legs. I grew up with a dog sleeping with me and thought the dog is asleep now, but we don't have a dog. I bolted up, nothing there. Thought it was a dream. I decided to switch bedrooms with our daughter as she had the larger one. One night in the other bedroom, I was asleep early morning again, and the covers kept being tugged down off me. I am always cold and a light sleeper, and I finally woke up and the covers were moving on their own. My husband woke up and saw it too. They were being pulled down off us. Didn't go back to sleep that morning either. A couple of weeks later, I had a dream where someone said, "Do you want to see a ghost?" I said sure and got out of bed and walked into the living/dining area. I looked to the right and noticed our apartment was filled with old antique furniture and was decorated with someone else's things, it looked like. Confused, I turned my head to left dining area and saw an old gray woman crouched over what appeared to be a desk. We had a dining table set there. She turned her head and glared angrily at me and scared the heck out of me, and I woke up. I was rattled for days. A month or so later, we were sitting outside talking to the upstairs neighbors, a mother and daughter. She went on to say that the former tenant in our apartment was an elderly woman who was a piano teacher, but they made her stop having students to the apartment because of the traffic in the parking lot taking up parking spaces and noise from the piano playing. She also said she was an extremely angry old woman and that she had died in the apartment. I froze and said, "Did she have a little dog that died there too?" She said yes, she did, with a puzzled look on her face like, "How did you know that?" I didn't even go into my experiences because no one ever believes you and writes off these experiences as sleep paralysis or something else. But the apartment was haunted. We were only there a year and moved. Never saw the old woman again. When I was around 15, my family and I moved into a 3-bedroom house. My older sister chose the bigger bedroom, and I didn't really care much at the time. I got the smaller room down the hall, which kinda looked creepy since there was a window right at the end of the hallway and my bedroom would be on the side of where the window was. So when you go out of the room, on your right, you'd see a small window on the wall next to me where the hallway ends. As I was getting my stuff into my bedroom, I saw something odd which looked like a nail which was on the windowsill. I ignored it and just went back into my new room. Little did I know that this house was previously owned by a crazy old woman who had died in this house. My parents told me this after when things started to get worse. So, anyway, as I unpacked everything and sorted my stuff, I felt a cold breeze come out of nowhere. Mind you, it was a freaking summer and was very hot during that time. Out the corner of my eye, I saw a black figure unmoving right where the window was. I was 6 to 7 feet away from it because I was in my room. During this time, I froze and felt tingles down my spine. I quickly ran downstairs to my parents and didn't have the words to explain what just occurred. After calming down for a bit, I told them about the black figure and my father went upstairs with me to check up on it, but he said, "You're not a child anymore, Sky." I felt hurt because he thought I was playing around with him. He then checked everywhere, my room and the window close by, but there was nothing. A few hours went by and we all were eating dinner. My older sister was in a bad mood and was texting her friends at the table, which she always used to do. I was the talkative one whenever it was time to eat dinner with my family, but in reality I'm an introverted girl. So, I was asking how Dad's day went. He works as a construction worker, and he said it was okay. Suddenly, we heard a loud thump coming from upstairs. You could kinda see the hallway because that's where the stairs led up to, and downstairs is where the dining area was next to the kitchen. My dad then asked, "What was that?" in a concerned tone. He got up from the dining table and grabbed his old bat that he always kept in the kitchen if we were ever in danger. He slowly made his way upstairs and heard more sounds. Thump, thump, thump. It got louder and I was terrified. He then went to the final step and stood in front of my room. He also looked to the side where the window was outside in the hallway. No one was there, but sounds came mostly from my room. He tried opening the door, but it was locked. How could that be? I never lock it and there is no key to lock it or anything that makes it lock. It was an old doorknob. My dad began to push all his body against the door and it finally opened so hard that he nearly fell over. I wanted to see what the commotion was about and I ran upstairs so fast if he was okay. My dad told me he was fine and the door was only stuck. As he was talking to me in my room, I just felt like looking into that window, and what I saw was dreadful. It was that dark figure standing but outside looking through the window directly at me, and I screamed so loud that the neighbors could hear it. My dad rushed to me and didn't see anything. I told him something was there, but he just couldn't see it, and then the figure vanished. No one believes me to this day, but I'm glad we finally and eventually moved out of that creepy house.